in.
Welcome to Midway Radio. Yeah, we're back, kids. We're back. And this week, actually, let's go around the horn real quick. We got Ryan Brockmeyer.
What's up, everybody?
We got Barb Kalicki. She's on mute. So we're going to say hi to Sean.
What up, people?
DJ Sean Doe is in the house.
What up, people?
We got the legend, DJ Risky Business.
Hello.
Oh,
He's already got a big enough head. Let's call him with the legend stuff. So.
I mean, I don't agree with that.
And this week, kids, we're talking to those guys that you've already heard about. We got Jam and Profound is in the house.
Yo, what up?
We're going to need to get like some woo-woo, some sound effects. Hold up. They're in here somewhere. Hang on. We're going to do that again.
Diddy applause.
You guys are special.
Appreciate that, man. Bro, you looking like you just woke up.
We got Jam and Profound.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, son. Welcome to the show, fellas.
What's up, man? How y'all doing tonight?
Doing real good, real good. So we usually start out the show with a little bit of an update. So, fellas, DJ Risky Business, and I almost said your other name, Ryan. We got some new folks on the docket.
We do. It's been a couple of weeks since we've done a show. So, in last couple of weeks, we've done a few more interviews. We've interviewed Threes. We've interviewed Al Tamper. We've interviewed Tawana Gabs. We did D2G and Jay Williams last week. So if you guys don't know who they are, go to midwaydocumentary.com. Go to the cast page. You'll see everybody there. You'll see profiles. We're still adding profiles. We just added a bunch last week. So keep checking it out. See who we're talking to. And, and we're going to keep going with that. I also want to mention right off the bat, too, instead of waiting towards the end, we've got some amazing people in the Chicago hip-hop community, and some of them are putting on a fundraiser to help support our project, and that's the good folks at Urbanized Music. Thank you to Amina and Chris.
Yes, sir.
And Shadow Master and 606 Hip-Hop. For next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, a week from tomorrow night, they're calling it a Night of Hip-Hop Stars, and for $5, you can see an amazing show.
How much?
$5.
Come on, man.
Say that one more time.
$5.
So I'm making a point to say $5. So if you don't take your cheap asses out there and go see this show, I'm going to be that guy. Start calling you guys out. $5 for a night of hip-hop all-stars.
And I'm going to be with you 100% on that one, Carlos.
So we got real quick. It's a week from tomorrow night. It's Tuesday, October 25th. It's from 6 to 10 in Subterranean. Like I said, $5, and you will see performances from Ange 13, Audacity, D2G, DA Smart, DeRoe will be in the house, E Brown, Endangered Species, Griffin, Han Solo, Ideologist, Josh Safe, Kingdom Rock, Mass Hysteria, Mike One, Profound, Pugs Adams, Sam I Am, Shadow Masters, Fellaini's, Urbanized Music, and there are more people who want to get on board. So it's going to be...
My only question...
yes.
My only question is, who is not going to be there? For $5, it better be not you. You better take your care. Boy, $5. Did you listen to all them people on there? So if we charge by the hour, $5 gets you. These folks are working for pennies.
Yes, sir. So we thank everybody for organizing that, putting that together, and of course all the artists who are going to be there. It's going to be a good time. Like I said, it's going to go to help support us, help offset a little bit of the cost that we've got for putting this on, because even stuff like you know, paying for parking and gas and all that kind of stuff to get to interviews and stuff like that adds up really quick. So yeah, thank you everybody. Thank you to these two wonderful fellas who are joining us tonight as well. We're going to be part of it. So.
Yeah, definitely, man. We appreciate even being a part of it to begin with, and the fact that, you know I speak for everybody and a lot of people that never say it, but man, what you guys are doing is just so appreciated and needed. You know, like Carlos said, $5, man, that's just a small price. So hopefully they go on the website. I mean, I think you should have a sign, and, you know, with the PayPal situation, and be plugging that as well. And go ahead and do that monthly subscription, you know, $5. Come on.
That public service announcement was, we didn't even ask for that. That's Jam just coming straight through.
Listen, man. You know, I might just be at the door to make sure everybody pay. You know, it might go back to some of that type of shit, really. You know. There is the other side to this hip hop, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. We may have some surprises, some new video to show there too. So encourage some people to get out and check out some stuff. So we got a lot of stuff in the works. So yeah, check it out.
Yeah.
Risky, anything from you?
No, I just want to get into it with our guests.
Cool. Let's get into it.
I mean, so if anybody who doesn't know that's watching, that's you're unfamiliar with Jam and Profound, or Profound and Jam, they're two Chicago legends. Profound, me and Profound have known each other for, I don't know, almost 20 years,
At least
probably
2 weeks.
15 to 20 years. Yeah, and he is one of Chicago's, one of the best lyricists, one of Chicago's best rappers, period. Jam, likewise, is a longtime Chicago rapper who went on to open up Planet 11 Studios, formed a huge group called Usual Suspects that made a lot of noise, and is currently now partnered with Profound to further good Chicago hip hop.
Definitely.
Is that kind of a little bit of the gist of where you guys are at?
Yeah, definitely. Except I don't know if I'm at that legendary status like a pro, but I appreciate the plug, Risky. What you need, cash, check, or money order.
There you go.
You need $5 at the door.
Right.
Let me tell you. First thing, Pro, you've had a long, massive career in Chicago, and you've been known as a freestyle champ. You've won a lot of battles. You've won national battles. You've gotten national recognition for that. You even got a record deal. What led you to a massive major record deal off of that. That being said, we often talk about Chicago's battle rap scene. How do you feel about Chicago's place in the history of battle rap?
Me personally, I feel like it probably isn't as recognized as it should be. Then again, Chicago hasn't really ever been recognized musically where it should be, especially with hip hop. The whole battle scene, like here, like it's hard for me to even get into the battles today because they set up differently. We came up on a different way. You know what I'm saying? You go right then and there. You didn't get months to prepare to be able to study somebody and get all in their, personal life and all of that. You had to go with what you had right then and there.
Well, traditionally, sorry, I didn't interrupt you. I was saying, traditionally, Chicago has always been an off-the-top city, which that I think has separated us a great deal, being, off-the-dome rappers versus written rappers, because you go and see these battles like King of the Dot, and all this stuff is, like you said, written for months. People prepare. We came up in a different era where you didn't have your preparation was the moment you stepped on the stage.
Yep. You had to have it together, or you was getting your ass handed to you.
And that's one of the things, because I watch battle rap on YouTube and stuff, and like people got like, they rap about people's credit scores. They rap about what they saw on Twitter like 3 months ago. I'm like, you guys are actually doing homework? Like, what? That's not how profound. That's not how you approach it, is it?
Nah, definitely not. I mean, I remember when I did get into, I only really got into it to have a name. I wanted my name known. I wasn't even really trying to win. But it just so happened that I was, getting in them, and I happened to start winning. And I remember Jay gave me a nice piece of advice one time, man, and he told me to make sure that I didn't stay stuck in the battle circuit. You know what I mean? Especially trying to be an artist. I'll never forget that. Standing outside the double door one day, he told me that. It's like, man, don't let the people typecast you as only a battle rapper. Because then when you try to get up on the stage to perform, the songs and the things that you really want to get across as an artist, they really ain't trying to hear you then. Because you stayed too long on the battle circuit.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes people get, a handful of Chicago rappers got really pegged as battle rappers, and they claim they couldn't write. And I mean, we know better. We know some of these people directly, and we know what people are. But they got pigeonholed, and they were kind of unfairly judged and prejudged based off of them being battle rappers.
Right.
What are you guys doing today? Because in the movie we'll learn a lot about history and stuff like that, and through the website people will learn a lot about your history. But what is Jam and Pro working on today?
Well,
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, basically just trying to stretch out and utilize the connects that both Pro and I have formed over our years of traveling, because probably unlike the typical Chicago MC or just cast us in the industry, I think we moved around a little bit more and stretched out and went to other places and built relationships there, or had relationships with cats like Doug Infinite who stretched out and went west. And so right now we're really just trying to bring that together. So the latest project, Distant Gratification, really exemplifies the fact that he pretty much went to other places to get all of the production done and record, but everybody, with the exception of one producer on that album, had a Chicago connection or was from here. And really just trying to show, unfortunately, a lot of times we really feel like we have to leave the city. And in most cases we do, to kind of gain more recognition. But, much like Risky and probably you guys too, we're hard-headed and we still believe that we can make it happen, repping Chicago, being in Chicago. So I think that's really the first step that we've done. And we're going to just try to continue to do that and stretch out. And lately, like, Atlanta has been our second home. They've really been showing us a lot of love down south. So we're kind of going back and forth there as much as possible as well, and trying to just build an album up.
What I like about
oops. I was just gonna jump on the Atlanta tip real quick. One of the common connections that we have is Rhapsody.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's actually, every time his name pops up, I'm always telling Ryan, "Ooh, look. Rhapsody takes pictures of all his equipment and stuff." And if you look on his desktop of the computer, he's got that drawing of that cartoon character of him. Yeah. I'm always telling Ryan, look, that's my shit. Ryan is like, I know.
Shout out to the homie Rhapsody too down there in the air. I'm not sure if he's on right now, but I know he'll check it out when he sees it.
Yeah, talented cat right there. Very talented.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say is I love the way that you guys are. You know, it's you guys are really good at kind of balancing everything, and it's like, yeah, you're working with some cats in Atlanta and some other things like that, but you're still in Chicago. It's not like, hey, we're gonna move to New York and we're gonna live there for 5 years and do something over there. And same way with with making the music. You know, everybody can talk about, kind of the old school mentality. And you want to, nowadays everybody knows it's all about the short attention span. So you want to throw out a mixtape, you want to throw out a single every, or not even a single, but you want to throw out a song every week and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that you guys are good about throwing out the teasers, yet having a plan and putting a project together, and like you said, like using some of the connections that you have in Chicago and outside of Chicago. So maybe talk about like kind of just the plan and the kind of the mindset as far as like cultivating a project like this.
Well, I think it started, what's probably kind of unknown is that when me and Pro hooked back up, I was still deep into it with the Suspects. Like, they were really on the verge of doing a lot of good things, and they had a lot of interest from some major labels. We were probably on the verge of signing some distribution deals, and had a couple of things going until it kind of fell apart. But Pro was like an unofficial member of the Suspects. Like, he was actually, rolling with that, and he had put his personal, solo career to the side to help with that crew-like thing. We always felt like it was better to move in numbers. But once that fell apart, I just focused primarily on Pro. And we just felt, like you said, Ryan, just let's put together a couple of projects. Our plan was to have 2 to 3 projects finished or almost complete, and then step out so that we could kind of ride on it for a while. And it helps that Pro is not trendy. So a lot of the songs that people are hearing and bugging out on, they're actually 10 years old to him. It's not even new stuff. It's very old stuff to him. But like I said, if it's good music, to me, it's good music. And I think that concept is lost in the instant gratification that people want today, which is why we use the play on words, distant gratification, because we're also so far away from that.
Plug.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Pro, you want to chime in on it, or did I take all your thunder? My bad.
I was saying that was a plug. We plug in the album. Just to really piggyback off of what you said, Ryan, it's more like, for me, like it does get difficult to pay attention to what's going on and everybody releasing music. And as an artist, sometimes I feel like, man, I gotta put this out, and then I'll have to have Jam pull the reins in sometimes as well, because it's hard. I like to make the analogy like hooping. It's hard to hoop and really run on the team if you can't focus and do what the team needs you to do in order for y'all to reach that goal. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times I refer to Jay just so that I make sure that I'm always on the right track, and we not, just out here. I'm just not just releasing music just to be releasing music and not without a purpose. That's where the whole project situation comes in.
I have a question about your album. I've been listening to it ever since you shared it with me, and mad props. Sounds good. Is it out yet? That's not the question. I just wanted to make sure. Is it out yet, or did you guys?
Kind of, sort of, yes, and kind of, sort of, yes. You know how we like to say, man, everything's always negotiable, man. Like, I mean, it's out officially, but we still got some other things in play. Like I said, it's a plan already in place that's been in place that we really following and being strategic with. So it's kind of out, but then again, kind of not. But it's out.
Yeah. So after listening to your album for just a couple go rounds, one of the questions that I had is profound. Do you ever answer your phone?
When the time permits me to, yeah.
You got mad voicemails all up in that.
I mean, You know what, brother, man? Sometimes I can't believe it myself. Like I still, I'll get certain people that'll call and be like, man, dude, I hit you and be like, man, I'm trying to get to you, man. I have to put everybody on the schedule. Like that's how many calls that I really be getting.
Yeah.
So and then juggling that and being a father too, man, and trying to stay on top of keeping up with what's going on with the children and being out of state and whatnot too. So
yeah,
man, I'll answer if you call though.
I was just laughing just because there's a couple little mini tracks on there where it's like boop, yo bro, hit me back.
No, and look, see, and that was the purpose too. Look good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carlos.
Who were some of the
mine? I was irate.
But now my serious question when it comes to your album is there's a lot of personal stuff that you got on there.
Yes,
like
sir.
You got your mom talking about you growing up.
Right.
You got a voicemail about how your dad passed away.
Yeah.
Talk about like how that's a lot of really personal stuff. Like when you're actually making the album, does it take a lot out of you?
For me, it does, because unlike most artists, Profound and Donald are not two different individuals.
Mm-hmm.
They're really one and the same. It's not a gimmick. Profound wasn't a gimmick that I created. It was something that somebody had given to me based upon a conversation. That's how I got the name.
Mm.
The personal things for me, and growing up in the hip hop, I just went back to what always intrigued me the most, and the music that I used to hear, and it's usually the personal records. It's usually the emotional things, and I wanted to put together this whole project with, and be a little bit more personal than I probably normally am. Most people know me for, of course, dropping jewels and freestyling and battling and all of that, and I just wanted to really show, everybody that, you know what I mean? Like, there is a deep personal side to me, and there is a message, so to speak, behind anything that I do.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's not just a gimmick. But, yeah, you're right. It was a lot of personal things on there, Some things, Jay had to fight to get on there, too, because, some stuff I kind of considered a little too personal. But then again, I just think that it'll just open me and bring me closer to my fan base anyway.
Mm-hmm. And, Jay, is there ever a situation where Pro comes to you and he's like, hey, I want to talk about like this song. I want to make a song about how bad my feet stink. And you're like, yo, that's too much. Do you ever have to like pull him back?
No, I think it's just the opposite, as he said. I think that one of the best things about me and Pro is, even though we all love hip hop, but my perspective on hip hop, especially being from Chicago, was a little different from his. And I think that what I always try to do is to get him to be creative and true to himself at the same time, and not fall into the stereotype that maybe even his fans want him to fall into. Like in Chicago, it's like you got to be the backpacker type rapper, or you got to be the gangster rapper, or you got to be the pro-black rapper, and they all can't be mixed in one. Like, you can't have several different opinions that vary or contradict, in the game, period. But let's only hear, it's almost like gangbanging. You always have to pick a side. And what I've told him is, man, if you like a trap beat, rap over that. Because you're going to make that something else. It's not going to be a trap beat once you get done with it. And this is what pushes the envelope of hip hop to me. When you do, because I come up, in that era, I think, I'm old enough to say, like, when it was starting, 79, 80, when, man, cats did what they was doing. Everybody had their lane, but, you got a variety of shit when you listen to hip hop. You didn't just get one thing. You know, you got from a party rapper to a Big Daddy Kane to a storyteller, you know, to what it evolved in. But it seemed as the more we grew with hip hop, the more stagnated we became, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And it's rare that you really, to me, you get someone that you feel is being genuine and unafraid, you know, as far as their creativity. And so, you know, that's what I kind of push them to do, I think, more so than anything.
Do you guys find that when someone who is coming up and making music and doing their thing, once they do reach the level to where a label is looking at them and the label does sign them, does the label ruin their brand?
Well, Pro, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I think that the label will do what you allow them to do. Mm. Just like in most cases with the world. If you stand on what you're on, then they're going to take you for that. But if you show that you're very pliable and you'll bend to anything that they say, because to be honest, there's not many labels I've ever encountered that actually knew what the fuck they were doing or even had staff that did. And if they
feel
did,
like they're playing label.
Man, if they did have someone that knew what they were doing, they weren't in a position of power. They were always like the dude in the mailroom or the intern. They were on it, but everybody else that was getting a check had no clue.
Yeah. Jam, don't you think this is like the peak time? Because the labels, if they're not scared, they need to be. We have someone like a Chance the Rapper, right? Mm-hmm. Who wants nothing to do with the industry as it is. He's fine. Chance is blazing, like, to a certain point, he had to follow.
You see, he's selling Kit Kats now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
He got that Kit Kat money.
Yeah, that's how you do it. How do you think Michael Jordan made his money? That's how he did it.
Selling draws.
Endorsements.
Selling draws and sneakers.
Selling draws. And scaring people.
Yeah, but with it being the new trail being blazed as it is, now is the prime opportunity for you and Profound, because you don't have to be in a position where people were years ago, where you kind of have to do what they say because you don't know where else you're going to go.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have to take nothing from anybody.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And that's sometimes that's the mental part of the game that I think I help Pro with a lot. You know, a lot of times, you know, we do that Phil Jackson, Michael Jordan type of thing, just to piggyback off the analogy, whereas we talk about a lot of life situations and just having courage and what we've been through and what our perspective is, and then apply it to the music after the fact, because you can get really disheartened when you know you got good shit. Just like me, I know I'm dealing with a premium artist, but, you know, he almost gets treated like a punk, you know, in a lot of ways. And we understand that, and we have to deal with that every day. But what I tell him is, man, we only need one yes. We only really need one person and the right person to recognize it at the right time. And the key to that, to me, is just being consistent. And since it's what we love, it's not really a problem to be consistent, but it is a problem to not have an expectation behind the talent. You know what I mean? So,
well, one thing that's really key right now, I think, that's actually plays in the corner of a Profound, of you or rappers like you, because I've known you for a long time and I know where you stand lyrically and I know what you bring to the table. The more garbage that's being put out right now, right, the more people are starting to, you know, with the lack of lyrics, and what's, I'm not attacking any rappers personally, but they're flat out at this point just coming out and saying we can do whatever we want, and these kids are going to buy it. I can go wah 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 on a song all day, and you'll buy it because the beat's hot, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
the more that happens, you're starting to see more of a need, and it's crazy. You're starting to see now a hole and a need for good lyricists. It's cycling back to someone where it doesn't even have to be, I don't even want to say conscious. You don't have to be spitting conscious stuff. You could just be dope lyrically. And there's a huge hole for that right now. Yeah. And there's only a handful of rappers that can even fill that hole. There's a small handful of rappers that can fill that widening hole.
That's what she said.
He's here all night, folks. All night.
He's on fire.
Wow.
Dude, I was sweating. I was trying to hold it in. I started sweating. Look. I was about to go get a towel like Profound.
Cover your ears, Bob.
Nah, it's okay. I grew up with brothers.
This is what did Trump call it? The locker room. We're turning
Right. It's all good. You grew up with brothers. You hear this stuff all the time.
Yeah, definitely.
I better not ever run for president.
No, you'd be a bad candidate. they would cut you out right here, right now, just for this episode.
Oh, wow.
Okay, sorry about that. So more filling holes. What?
Yeah, but I mean that's basically where I was going. Is it's coming back to a position where rappers like yourself, someone like a Bamski, and I mean, there's so many dope rappers, right?
B.A. Ange.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and there's a huge like, and the game's changed again too, because now everything's so independent, and you don't have to worry about things like people get paranoid, like, oh, I'm too old to do it. No, you're not too old to do it. You're never too old. The world wants hip hop. Like, kids want dope hip hop. They want it, and they don't care where it's coming from and who's doing it, as long as they're getting bars.
Yep. And I mean, I look at it like that as well, because I mean, you know, I always, when I think about like, is Pro too old? Are we too old to be doing this? But we love it and we have the energy for it. I think of like groups like the Grateful Dead, you know, like look like they were on stage, look like they were 70 plus, but once they hit that stage, you never know.
Yeah.
Right.
And the thing is you're not too old as long as you're not just, you guys don't need to try hard. There's some people out there that, yeah, they might be a little older and they're looking like what they do is they're chasing some sort of trend. You guys don't need to chase any trends, do you? As long as you're not chasing trends and you look like you're trying hard, you know, to follow that whatever trend. I mean, there's plenty of rappers that do it, that are older rappers, and then that makes you look old, because you're trying to play in the 18-year-old game.
Yeah.
That's not, and that's not the game that we're not built for that game anymore.
Nah, you the old guy in the club. You know, not the lounge in the club.
That being said, they're not built, but those kids aren't built for our game.
Not at all. No.
And I ain't never stopped.
I mean, we lived in the city. We lived in a city where it was show and prove. Like, you had to prove yourself as a rapper, as a DJ, as a graffiti artist, and if you didn't, you were checked.
Yeah.
And you weren't checked. I mean, it was completely on you. You was going to be checked, and you either go home and get good, you just be better, or you just stop doing it. Now, everybody's like, try, Tiger. You're really good. Like,
yeah.
Are you calling people out?
He just did.
Hey, like everybody gets a trophy. What the fuck is that?
Right.
When we were kids, I didn't even want a second place trophy. I would start crying.
Yeah.
First place or nothing.
Man, listen. You know,
but go to work. Last, the great Ricky Bobby.
Hey, man.
What's that saying? Second place is the best loser.
Man, stop playing.
Yeah, you know, but like, bro, you agree with me, man. But when we were coming up, it was a show and prove scenario. Like, you had to be, this city in particular protected the gates, and now I feel like there's a lot of people just everything's wide open. That being said, the cream still rises to the top. We just got to sift through a lot of shit.
Yeah, well, it's missing that hierarchy, and I think that, of course, we've lost our way, like a lot of times families do. You know, like you lose touch with the younger generation because they seem so different, but really they're kind of the same. They're just missing some crucial background information and history, which is why I was like just hearing about the Midway doc and what you guys were doing brought such a new energy to me. I mean, I don't think that me or Pro could overlook the fact that it probably gave us a boost indirectly and you guys didn't even know. You know what I mean? Because we were kind of slumping. So it was just like the home crowd just started clapping and got your ass back in the game. Like, oh, no, we need to keep on. We need to push. We got one more quarter. Let's do this. Yeah. So, and I think you guys have provided that energy for a lot of MCs that I've seen come out the woodwork and at least are a lot more vocal and trying to be visible. You know, like they're forgotten that they have value and worth until somebody else pointed it out to them. But we all need that sometimes.
What we need to make sure everybody understands is everybody's value. So many people that maybe quite don't understand it. And we're not mad at anybody. We just want to make sure people properly understand their own value and what they brought to the city and how it influenced others. We can't, me, Ryan, Sean, all of us, we can't let that, no way is that going to go to the wayside. Not anymore. We're going to make sure that it's in the forefront and there's a place, whether it's the movie or the archives or wherever, there's a place everyone can access our complete history, and it's going to be written in stone at this point.
Yeah. And then again, you know, I can't thank you guys enough for even embarking on the journey that will probably go on forever.
Yeah, and you can thank Ryan for hating his job 3 years ago for that.
I'm gonna call his people where he used to work at. What's the number, Ryan?
Hey, Ryan hated his job and Tyga came on Pandora. He was like, I'm done.
The double whammy.
Hey, Pro, I got something for you real quick. I want to ask you, in fact, do you still wear lugs?
Woo!
Look at this guy. Hey, but you know what? Hey, Risky, that's a good question, man. I actually still have like 2 pairs of jeans, man, from Lugs that I actually never wore, and they're actually a little too, actually a lot. They're way big now. I can't wear them now.
You gonna give them to Risky?
You know we're taking items to like the museum and stuff. You know, right? We can put that. We can.
Well, tell them if they didn't know.
I'll hook you up, man.
If you guys didn't know, Lugs endorsed Profound. I didn't know a lot of other Chicago rappers that didn't have major label deals that were getting. Well, I mean, you did actually, but that were like. Right. I mean, other than like Common and Twister had a Pele deal, I think, right? Pele was backing him, but he was like the first dude I knew in Chicago that's like, I was like, oh my God, this guy's like.
Lugs actually came directly to me after the whole MTV situation, and they came to me before I actually signed that deal with Loud, and
wow,
and gave me a lot of freedom, you know, like GCI and Power 92 did. They gave me a lot of freedom, only gave me like 2 or 3 things that they wanted me to mention in the commercial, and they basically gave me the freedom to say anything else I wanted to say, and paid me to do such, and you know sent me gear every time I was rocking. So yeah, it was when they were making apparel, it was nice. They hooked their brother up. They should come back out the clothes. The jeans was
and
nice.
That's dope. Yeah, Lugs was a good brand. Lugs wasn't like.
Speaking of
GCI.
Did you do like a remix, like a Heard It All Before remix?
I've done several remixes for GCI. Yeah, Heard It All Before was the first one that I did.
For sure.
I did what Heard It All Before, a remix, Grindin', a B2K remix for them. I mean, I think I was the only MC in the city who was doing remix for both stations, though. You know, like I was doing them for both stations because Power was just starting out. And I was kind of surprised that they was letting me get away with that. But, you know, hey, man, I was glad to be on the airwaves, brother.
Yeah. Yep. That's sick. Do you still have, like, that stuff recorded?
I sure do.
Plug the mixtape. Plug the mixtape.
yeah, all of that. Yeah, that's all on the mixtape. Matter of fact, right, we did. Mike Love hooked the brother up, and we did a mixtape that Mike Love hosted. That's still available. I got you. As soon as we get off, I'll make sure you get it.
Word up.
And Jam, one thing I want to ask you, with the current state of Chicago's violence, gun violence, you have a long history with anti-gun violence. The JG record was through Mercury, right? Gasoline Alley.
MCA was the distributor.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what year was that? 93?
Yeah, 93.
Okay. So for those that don't know, Jam's first group, JG, released a single, "Put the Guns Down," and it was one of the first. It was if not the first anti-gun song done on a national level.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of came about in a roundabout way. It was actually the brainchild of our producer, a guy named Rick Starr, who was actually a part of a group from here as well, R&B group called Magnum Force. I don't know if you guys remember, they had a little cut called Share My Love back in the day. They got it was a regional hit, at least I think. But he was the producer, and he kind of came up with it. And although I liked the concept, I kind of hated it because I thought that he was trying to use it as a gimmick. But as luck would have it, that's what the label bid on. Like, that's really what got us our deal. And we went with that, and I was full into it, even though it was very contradictory to my lifestyle at the time, and not well received in the hood, but I've never been one to really care. So I thought it was needed. And one thing I can say about it, again, with that type of thing, we got a lot of love when we went out from parents and from the older people, which was kind of weird to me. But I saw the beauty and the good that hip hop can do. Like, it was kind of corny at the time to me, but then that record allowed me to see the true power that you can have, especially if you combine something that was really good. And I thought the record was adequate, but it could have been better. And it also kind of showed me how, a lot of people will talk the talk, but when it really comes down to it, they'll kind of fade out on something like that. But for the acts that were on there, and particularly 10 Trey, that record also allowed me to form some alliances that I would have never formed coming from where I was at. To be,
it was a roll call of who's who at that time. You had 10 Trey, you had the Rhyme Poets, you had at the time he was called Mad Skills, but he was
Mad Skills.
Pony Boy from CMB, and then Los Marijuanos.
Yes. Prince Hakeem. What's my man from OCU, Steve-O?
Oh, Steve-O from Organized Crime Unit. And then you guys had a national video.
Yeah. Like I say, it was a bittersweet thing, but it also, for me, it defined something for me that, although I loved hip hop, I love MCing, I still write, I still record, I knew that wasn't my lane, because for one, I like to say what I think. You know what I mean? And you have to get to a certain level, especially when you're dealing with a label. You are an employee, and that type of clamp, it just inspired me to learn more about the business and how to make a way for artists to be able to really be free in what they're doing. And if they got into that position, to have some knowledge, because one of the biggest things that I thought was the downfall of that whole situation was our lack of knowledge. We didn't have anybody in our circle or on our team at that time or that I could go to that really knew what the fuck to tell us as far as how to keep this deal and keep our integrity, or even to tell me if that was possible. So we took a lot of lumps, and even coming back, you know, deciding to take the little money that we did make from the label and start Planet 11 as a studio, you know, that was a jump. You know, our lawyer disowned us, you know, thought that was crazy, that we should just try to get publishing deals and just continue, you know, to kind of sell ourselves and sell our music and just make whatever money we could. But we thought otherwise. And although it probably wasn't the best financial decision, I'm really happy that we did it that way, because if not for that, I wouldn't have met any other people that are in the Midway doc, not coming from the Robert Taylors. You know what I'm saying? There's no way I would have come in contact with the Ans 13s, the Judgmentals, and everybody that I would go on to meet, including Pro.
That's interesting there. Talk a little bit about just what you said there about the division, because that's one thing that we want to talk a little bit about in the film is the separation from neighborhood to neighborhood. Growing up in the Robert Taylor project, even though there's rappers less than a mile from you,
yeah,
you are, you know, unless you fall in the situation, you're never going to meet them. Talk about how that worked out.
Well, I think, you know, first the concept of Planet 11 was like, how powerful could we be if 5 and 6, of course, you know, just to gain points on the star. You either was with the 5 or you was with the 6 here in Chicago, like that, right or left, or with the hat or whatever. And we always thought, as we did to put down the guns and saw the power, it had to bring those rap groups together. Like, it, you know, there was some eyeballing and crews were looking at each other, but there was no real beef. And we actually became cool with each other to the point where, you know, Crunch and whoever, 10 Trey knew if they came on the low end, I had their back. Like, they were protected, and it was likewise. So when we came back with the money and we thought about Planet 11, that number really speaks to the unification of us as a city, no matter what hood we're from. And one of the things that we made plain and clear was that if you came to the studio to record, no matter who you were, like from the Snipers to Just Roll, no matter what set you were from, you could come, you could wear your hat, you could bring your weapon, all of that. But it's going to be no bullshit. We're about music. And at that time, you could really talk to cats who were in power on the streets and make that happen. And I will say that it still to this day amazes me that there was not one incident at Planet 11 ever, not even a fist fight. So it showed me a lot. Yeah, it showed me a lot about who we are when we want to be, and when we all have something that we want to do. Like when everybody had that commonality of trying to make this music thing pop. In the 90s, it was just a great thing. Like people were really on that. Like guys were really trying to step away from the streets and really make that music happen. But it just, you know, it didn't pan out for everybody or most of us like we wanted it to. That's all.
Sure. Jam.
Yeah.
So I was talking to somebody earlier this week about your work ethic. And they were really like, yo, your work ethic is crazy. And I agree too. Like I want to salute you and respect you on that.
Appreciate it.
Speaking of that work ethic, you were compared to Chris Lighty. So I just want to let you know that too.
That's high praise. I've had the pleasure to see him when he was alive and shit. 3-4 phones, pointing everywhere. And he was a little intimidating. I didn't know he was that big until I got in front of him. Yeah, he was a little, you know, he was a little brolic. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, we have to put forth that work ethic here. I feel like in hip hop, Chicago has always been, you know, pardon my analogy, the black man. Like we've always had to work harder than everybody else, even though we were more talented or just as talented. And it's that stigmatism that I think that makes us work harder and keeps us going. But at the same time, you know, I think it's time out for that shit. It's time for us. You know what I mean? It's been time. Everybody else has had their turn. And we really haven't. We've had some standouts, and there's no disrespect to the standouts, but they really still don't rep from here. They're not here. They're not where people can touch them and see that the dream is really real, or bump into them, you know, shopping. They can see them at the concert. Maybe they'll come back and do something. But when I go to other cities, you know, you're bumping into their stars. You know, Meek Mill is getting a Philly steak. You'll see Beanie Siegel, you know, on South Street. You know, we don't have that. And I think it would be so wonderful and great that if we either had that or we had it. Like once when I was in Cali, I remembered we were in the studio and Cube was in the studio next to us. And he said it out of his mouth. He was like, man, I don't need East Coast. I don't need the Midwest. I can go gold in California. Mm-hmm. And it made me feel a certain type of way. Like I knew he was 100% correct, but I wanted to fight him. You know what I mean? Because I was so jealous that he had that. And that I knew that our city supports and breaks so many artists and makes them famous, but we haven't done it yet for an artist from here for real. So
yeah, truly supported from Chicago. Yeah, no, without a doubt. Because like even like Ye has blown up from everywhere else.
And not gonna lie, you post anything on social media about Kanye and people are like, he don't even come to Chicago anymore. But like they're quick to hate.
and you know what, Carlos, that's so crazy that you say that, because it's almost like a Trump deflection. Like every time somebody says something, it's not hate just because the person is famous. And sometimes the shit has a lot of truth to it. And depending upon, you know, I say consider the source, because I know I've said some things that may be considered jabs at some of these individuals, but I have some insight that I wouldn't even share, because at the end of the day, it's like, I want to be able to talk about you like we family, but honestly, when I go somewhere else, I'm going to defend you. Like you're still my family. Just because I have a problem with you doesn't mean you're not family. I'm going to honor Ye, Common, and everybody else to the utmost. But I do know some things that could be better on their end, in my opinion, as far as helping this industry grow and really getting behind it and making it pop. And it's small things. You know what I'm saying? Small things. Not like I'm asking you to come and donate $1 million, but say, for instance, you know, plug the things that are important to Chicago more. You know what I mean? Like for real, that are not going to benefit you personally, especially considering the fact that you are already really popping.
Right. And it's crazy because you do hear it in other cities, and you talked about it earlier, where you're in the studio and Cube was right next to you, and I used to live in LA. They live and die. NWA. They live and die.
Man.
Raiders aren't even in the city anymore, and they still live and die that. So I kind of agree with you. This echo is driving me crazy, so I'm going to step out for a second. But yeah. Someone pick up. I'm gonna restart.
I wanted to go back to picking on the guns really quick. Did you, so putting that together, and you said you got some positive responses from, some parents and stuff like that. Did you notice any effects that it had in the community after putting that out?
You know what, Ryan? Not until, unfortunately, a lot of the guys I grew up with got indicted and they were in jail, and I would talk to them over the phone and, maybe have to talk to their sons or their kids. Then it was acknowledged that they were always kind of proud that I stuck to my guns, so to speak, or that I dared do that record, and what a lot of people didn't know is like, when that record was released, I was going to court for 3 gun charges, which was so fucking ironic. Had to do swap and the whole 9, you know what I mean? But I believed in it because I felt like I was never a bad guy in that sense. Like, that's not no shit I wanted to do. I was a product of my environment and more or less a victim of circumstance, because the truth of the matter was, at that time, it really was probably like it is now. I'd much rather have it and get caught with it than to be caught without it and need it. Mm. And looking at that circumstance and having that record affect my life in the way that the judge looked at what I was doing literally with the record, listened to the record, and instead of giving me that time, they gave me that swap program, because he could have easily, it was like, nah, you going. Mm. So it afforded me a pass there. And ironically, it also afforded me a pass within the hierarchy of the neighborhood, to whereas the powers that be on the streets said, nah, let Jam them do what they doing, because they doing something positive and that's needed. And that's a big difference in the gang leadership from then and now. They recognize that he don't need to be out here with this bullshit. We need to let him ride. And maintain his respect too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Jam, I want to ask you a question. I never gangbanged, but I can state from being in the city most of my life, there was a level of respect and community togetherness, especially even within the Black community, of the gangs. While they were doing whatever they were doing, they still had a level of respect for people that were doing good things. Yeah. Or they were trying to uplift people within their community to not have them in the same position they were. And I feel that doesn't exist anymore.
It doesn't. I think it was a systematic blow with the way that they hit with the gangs. I think they understood and knew that that's what it would turn into, that it would turn into chaos. Because, the leaders at that time were my age. They were in their 40s. So if they were still alive, they had kids and they had some compassion. I can remember when you couldn't play hooky from school and hang out on the streets or around the building if you were of school age. We didn't need a truant officer. The guys on the block would be like, man, where you supposed to be? Now, you may not have to go to school, but you're going to have to get off the block until it's about 2:30 or 3. Because if they see you after they didn't ask you to go ahead and go where you're going, it's going to be a problem. And you're going to have to respect that. It's just a different way that these guys deal, shooting 6-year-olds and things of that nature as retaliation. Oh, man, that would be a death violation. You couldn't do that. And you knew it. So as much as I hated it growing up, in some ways I thought it was unfair, dumb, just cruel and unjust. Now I understand that was a control that kept it from being total anarchy and chaos. Mm-hmm. And we don't have that now. You know what I mean? So
how much of that do you think is like kids these days? You don't even. I'm gonna get on my old man soapbox real quick, but Like everything is instant. You don't even have to wait for mail anymore. Right?
Yes, sir.
And again, like I grew up in the city, and I grew up diving in bushes because people were doing drive-bys and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But is it everyone is after the get rich quick scheme?
I can't say that they are on the streets, Carlos, because I know for a fact that, in contrast, there's no real money on the streets right now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Not comparably, not unless, you know, you bringing in heavy amounts. And if you are, I mean, you know, it's a different time. It's so, cats are fighting each other from block to block. Without organization, you can't really make any real money because you can't hold down any big territories. Mm-hmm. And if you can't hold down any big territories, that means that there's only a few people really making some money, and then there are always targets. Whereas I can remember coming back from my one semester of college, and I left guys that maybe were sharing 3 pair of pants with their brother. And I came back in a matter of 6 months. Not only, you know, that they had, you know, back then the herringbone was the thing. They had a couple of herringbones. They had a blazer. Everybody had money. This was just like everybody hit the lottery. You know what I mean? And I think at that time, you know, a cat on you know, at the bottom of the barrel as far as the street game went at that time was living comfortably. You know what I mean? At least compared to what he was living before, without having to worry about doing a lot of things. So to me, then it made sense. But to be out here right now, risking your life, penitentiary time, to make what you would make at McDonald's, what are you doing? You doing it just to get a rep? Like, I don't get that part. Like, that's the part of gangbanging I don't understand. You know, but it it probably seems all strange to somebody on the outside looking in. So, you know, I definitely get it.
That's an interesting point that you made. Do you think there are a lot of kids out there that are doing drive-bys and doing all kinds of knucklehead stuff just to get that rep, just to be able to come out with a rap album?
Yeah, because I think with the social media, everybody believes that they're a star. You know, if you have 5,000 followers, you really think you popping, even though
you probably bought half of them.
Yeah, or you taking 1,000 selfies a day. You know what I'm saying? You're really just killing people. Oh, whatever the case may be, or, you know, for a lot of the females, you know, they twerking, or they doing, you know, they're putting themselves out there in a way where I can see the vanity is going to hit everybody to a certain extent. But what are you really doing that's worthy of you being a star, regardless of your followers? What true talent do you have? What are you putting out there that's moving people's emotions in a real way? Because now I see so much booty on social media, I flick it so fast, I'm almost flipping past the shit I want to see. I'm tired of seeing ass on Instagram.
Right.
I thought I'd never say no shit like that. Tired of seeing ass on Instagram.
Profound. I got a question for you. You've done a lot of features and done songs with people. Who's the favorite artist you ever worked with?
Wow. You be right out there, huh?
Aim to please.
Right. The Don Lemon.
Or how about we do this? Because how about you talk about some of the people that you worked up with on this last album? That's a little bit more politically correct. And if your favorite happens to rise to the top, then that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess I didn't even think about how that comes off. I didn't mean it like that. Yeah.
There's a couple. I mean, I did. want to feature the whole album. Not really. But I featured a couple of singles. One of these I met through Rhapsody, Dwayne McCoy. Really good, man. Master Ace, Wordsworth, and they were with, man, definitely not expected. Them being they are in respective careers, you know what I'm talking about. Being able to work was something that but when it did happen, the outcome, as you can tell.
Hey guys, real quick, Ryan, we're having an issue. Can we drop out, cut it, and then restart the whole session?
Or Ryan, real quick. Just restart your browser, and you should be fine. We get like I think 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, because we've never had this happen before.
Y'all broke the internet. God.
Jam's the only one that doesn't have an echo, right?
He doesn't have echo. No.
I didn't have one.
And I don't hear you guys echo, so.
Oh, that's good.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Nah, I didn't hear nobody echo at all. I saw it on the screen, but I wasn't hearing it at all.
That means you got that good internet. Everyone else is on that Netscape Navigator. Testing. See, I still have a.
Do I still have an echo?
We all do.
Yep.
Crazy. Yep. But what's crazy is sometimes the YouTube video won't have an echo at all.
Okay.
Well, then let's roll.
Let's hope for that.
Yeah.
To our viewers watching.
Otherwise, we'll have to come here.
Technical.
Otherwise, you have to come back and have to do it all over again.
There's no echo when we share this on YouTube.
Jam.
Yes, sir.
So you talked a little bit about Plan 11.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the ladies of Planet 11?
Oh man, the ladies of Planet 11. I mean, there's really, there's a couple of, neighborhood ladies of Planet 11 like Brandy, Debbie Ticey, people you guys may have never heard of, probably haven't, but the standout would definitely be Ange 13. Ange recorded at Planet for a very long time, and maybe if not for her affiliation with Ill State, she was like definitely honorary Planet. She was just around us that much. We were trying to help her along with her manager get a deal. We solicited her music when we solicited ours. She was always welcome at the studio. But, like things just happen, especially with artists, it just falls apart. Sometimes, the egos and everything that comes with being an artist just clash and you can't get it back together. And it was just one of those things where Ange kind of drifted and we always kind of maintained contact. But I thought that her, as well as, the rest of the lyricist crew, which most of them also at some point in time recorded at Planet. When I encountered Ange, man, I felt like, man, you kidding me. This. I didn't even look at her as a female rapper. I was like, no, I will take her around and we will serve up some people real nice. You know what I'm saying? and you couldn't tell me that she wasn't going to have a deal. And when she had that deal, she wasn't going to be known as one of the best MCs in the history of the game. So when you talk about ladies, man, I don't want to slight any of the other ladies, but she sticks in my mind. That's the impression. She sticks in my mind that much that she overshadows everybody else, with no disrespect to anybody else, though.
For sure.
Yeah.
My favorite Ange 13 story is when I first met her. We were at the Midway party. She walks up. I had drawn a picture of her last year and stuff, so we kind of knew each other over Facebook and stuff. So I saw her in real life. I was like, "What's up, girl?" She walked up. She goes, "You're no longer allowed to wear flip-flops." And I said, "Why?" She goes, "No, just no." I said, "What if I got hot feet?" She said, "And done." Turned around and walked away.
That's why we love Ange.
Come on, man.
That's right.
You got to.
45 seconds. She already told me what to wear.
Hey, man, keeping it real.
Hey, gotta be right.
Bro, when I was gonna ask you earlier about the working with the artists and stuff, and obviously you work with legends like Master Ace and Punch and New York legends, and you work with a lot of Chicago legends. One of my favorite records was your work with Copper Pot.
Oh yeah. Can't forget about Copper. And actually, I met them. I want to say I started working with them right when you know what I'm saying? When I started working with Long, well, it's my favorite. Like who I like, with brother there. He definitely, I would say Westbrook and Ranch, but say that. You know what I'm saying? But he really was a Philly of mine as far as working with. And him and I actually still got some things that we got.
Yeah, that the combination of you and Shot and or even on the Copper Pot record, the M Flu record, one of my all-time favorite Chicago hip hop records. Period. You and Bamski.
Yeah, that's another man. How about the Bamski? My brother.
Yeah, I don't understand like how people like Bam and a handful of others, yourself included, that aren't on a level at the Chicago superstar national level. I could just. At the end of the day, it's just maybe they just don't want us. Like as far as they just don't want to mess with Chicago.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there can't be a lot of other answers because the talent's there. There's no denying any of that.
Nah, not at all.
Yeah, man. It's so many talented artists and so many good records out there. Like you could say that were overlooked. Like we could be talking about that all night and never run out.
Well, that's why I'm really waving the flag and really in the fan club with Chance and a handful of these other kind of kids that are without the industry's help, and they're starting to knock down the door. And hopefully, at some point, these kids can experience something that we didn't get, the infrastructure. They can build their own infrastructure and create their own ecosystem of Chicago hip hop that doesn't have to rely on anything else in the rest of the country. And we can just their own. And that's something we didn't get to experience, but I also feel that it was, if it does get built, it can only be as a result of the blood, sweat, and tears of people like yourselves.
Yeah, well, I mean, I definitely think, and I have to keep it in my mind that we will see it come to fruition in some form or fashion, and that what we're doing now will be a big part of getting over the hump will fuse those two worlds together, you know, almost like any type of revolution connected to, you know, history is going to repeat itself, you know what I mean? And you have to look back and see what was done, kind of bounce off of that, learn from it, and hopefully come bigger and better, so that when you do come with that revolution, it's a lot more potent. And, you know, and it doesn't even have to be as hard. And in this case, you know, not a lot of agitation where cats can agree to disagree, but still kind of move in a way that's beneficial for the city. Because if it's beneficial for the city, we still have so much to add to hip hop. And ironically, I think it goes back to what you were saying and what Sean was saying, like, that lyricism is coming back. Like, it's needed. That hole is getting big. Carlos, you know, we're gonna fill that gap.
Don't you encourage me.
and we're ready, man. You know, I can't help but to keep going back to what you guys are doing as far as really putting people on notice. You know what I mean? That's the most important part. And that's one of the biggest factors that I didn't see in other cities where they had industry. Even when Atlanta was bubbling in the 90s, I could see that they had, you know, you were put on notice. When you got to Atlanta, they let you know who were their people. Even if you were Jack the Rapper and Tupac and all these other people were there, they were like, nah, because in Atlanta, this is what we doing. Mm. And I never really seen that here in Chicago. We always pumped up whoever was hot.
Mm. That's just that's that consumer market mentality that we've been constantly, we are in a cycle of consumer mentality here.
Conditioned. We're conditioned. Yeah, definitely.
Sure. Well, we need to let people know that we have a history, and then and that's another thing. If we let people know the history of how we had to fight all these different things, it might spark younger kids to take different routes and build the infrastructure for themselves. It's not necessarily going to benefit us in 10 years, but you know, at the end of the day, we can help create that by simply just giving them the history that they don't know about, and understand that, you know, we live in this consumer market, and like you said, we're conditioned, and they didn't ever want us to be a part of anything because we were the ones that were keeping the money in their pockets. People are going to want to make changes on their own.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And you know what's crazy? You know, we're talking about we're talking about how the different gangs would get together and defend their own territories and stuff. But Chicago hip hop doesn't seem to do that. You would think that if the mentality was there, like we would help push each other. And I don't know, maybe it is happening. I personally don't really see it because name, you know, beyond Kanye and Common, name some rich ass Chicago rappers.
Oh, I mean, I absolutely can. Carlos, we got Chance who's doing it on his own, who's taking over everything.
Yeah, I take it back.
All the Save Money kids are doing well. It's just. It's happening. It's bubbling. We're starting to see the light of day. We just need to keep things moving forward. And again, that's why Midway is important to make sure that the history isn't lost. That we not only recognize the struggle and the trails that were blazed for these young kids to be able to do this by people like Jam, Profile, Smart, H13, the list will go on forever. We know Chance the Rapper was a huge fan of Typical Cats. Typical Cats were huge independently with Galapagos 4. So you know, we need to make sure that history is told, and then the other parts of it, the struggles that you know JMD had to go through because JMD wanted to get into another form of hip hop, which was coming in. You know, the divide between house and hip hop, and how we lived in this house dominated city, and we had to fight our own people to even to DJ, to rap, to do anything. And then they would look at you and want to fight.
Yeah.
I mean, these are things that other cities never had to deal with. And then you had the segregation and the gang issues, which again we talk about in the film, but it's so important we go back to it. But it really shaped the city, and it put the city in, as I say, a tale of three cities. You got the north side, south side, and west side, and within that you had different even styles of hip hop within one city forming, and everybody was kind of fighting between that for many years. Now it seems like everybody's starting to accept each other, and everybody's fucking with each other now. But it wasn't always like that.
Took some years for that to develop, you know what I mean?
Right, like 40 years late.
Really though. But
and I know better late than never, but holy crap.
You know, hopefully the momentum keeps going, you know?
Yeah.
Like, who knows where Chicago's going to be in 10, even 5 years. Like, it could be, you know, Chicago might be the next Atlanta.
Well, just as an example, me and Sean Doe just did a party where we celebrated Kanye West. And I know not everybody's the biggest Kanye West fan, but at the end of the day, he's ours. I have no idea what you're doing. But at the end of the day, I get not everybody is the biggest Kanye fan for whatever reasons, but he's still ours.
Yeah.
And me and Sean Doe are going to get the opportunity to do this party, and we're going to celebrate him, and it's not going to be some DJs coming into Chicago that are from Atlanta, New York, LA, wherever they're coming from.
Yeah, not only that, I mean, but Kanye's dope. Like, we would celebrate him if he wasn't from here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's another part that people may not look at or hear, you know, because, you know, another thing about Chicago is, like, you could say a paragraph and you could have one thing that could be considered a slight diss, and they'll run with that shit. They'll run with that one sentence. You know, like Fox
News
looking for shit. Yeah, they're looking for it.
They're not looking for anything else but that.
That's it.
And they find it.
And then it creates a situation because, you know, another thing that I find here that I don't see is, like, when cats have crews, they never have that guy that's keeping them grounded, that will tell them, no, your shit stinks. You need that. You need that person that's going to tell you what it really is. Right. And get off that Hollywood shit for a minute so that we can keep some type of creative integrity and moral integrity, because when everybody is serving you, there's no way you can keep your head straight. No way. It's impossible. And here in Chicago, you know, you always get a slap in the face from somebody. Like, you know,
and that might
they
be
say
it
New
too.
York is like that, but yeah, I don't know.
It might be it too, because you walk around Chicago. Look at, Ange didn't let me show up in Chicago with flip flops on. People don't give you no slack.
Yeah, I mean, you know, what some people don't favor flip flops, you know. You know what I mean? On guys, you know what I'm saying? Like, not as like what you come out of the house with. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, it was 95 degrees out.
House shoes.
Yeah, now you can wear Timbs in the summertime and you're good.
You can. I don't like my feet stinking. I got some ladies got to smell my feet.
Well, you know, considering the conversations we had earlier about filling the gaps, I'm gonna lay off right now.
Profound, I want to ask you, what's your favorite piece of equipment to produce with? Because a lot of people don't know, and if you don't know, Profound is a profound producer among being a dope
I
rapper.
see what you did there. I see what you did there.
He's so clever.
I like to use
No slack.
Clever business.
this little thing here, this MPC 1000. I'm old school with it, man. I first learned on I holler out to one of the homies, Tony Baines, repping, Bolingbrook too. Let me say, give a shout to Bolingbrook, everybody out there. But I went to see Tony Baines when I first got the MPC, and he showed me how to use it, and just been off and running ever since. You know what I'm saying? But my favorite piece is the MPC 1000.
Nice. That's dope. And everything you put down is really dope. You made a lot of good music with it.
Yeah.
I got to work with you on the production side on the long shot Civil War tape.
Right.
That's the first time I heard you producing. I was like, and I don't think you rapped on the track, right? It was just a shot on it, and I was like, who did this track? Profound. I'm like, rapper.
Hey, Risk. Well, I don't know if he's trying to keep it an ancient Chinese secret, but he also did time. He did a little internship, apprenticeship rather, under No ID as well as Doug. So when you put Doug, No ID, and Tony Baines, come on, man.
That's a Mount Rushmore of Chicago hip hop production.
Yeah. You better be on some once you get done with all three of those cats.
That's right.
Tony's just as dope. And for the record, Tony's name might not be known outside of Chicago like it does, and No ID. If you don't know, get familiar with Tony Baines, Delaney, or just anything he's done. Tony is equally as dope as anything No ID or
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
He's in the same class. That's what Chicago is, man. We have so many people that are in these classes that everybody else is in, but nobody knows it. And then I just go fucking ape shit over it.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this: if it ever comes to any type of fruition anytime soon, we'll definitely be able to keep it consistent because we're not short on talent ever. You know what I mean? So I can take solace in that fact.
Yep.
So there.
Should we do this or that guy? Ooh.
Yes.
All right, Ryan, you got them written down. You go for it.
Got a couple here, guys.
Explain it to what it is.
Just gonna give you a couple of quick choices. Just whichever one appeals to you. Let us know.
Hang on real quick. Hang on. This is happening in the chat room. God no other. He says, not the thong toe flip flops.
Yes.
What up, out to Gino?
Yeah, he hit you with the Odie Wapty right there, Carlos.
Listen, I got pretty feet. Get out of here.
Listen, my girl tries to get me to wear open-toe sandals all the time. Negative.
Jesus sandals.
No. And I get my shit pedicured. I'll put it out there. I'm not wearing the open-toe shits, though. It's not popping. I'll do anything for love, but I wouldn't do that.
I walk around with cleats before I do that.
Hey man, come on, stop. I wear a Green Bay jacket, so I do that.
Wow,
so good.
Yeah,
so good.
Okay, my bad.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Listen, I'm Cuban. You guys are lucky that I'm not wearing flip-flops with like dress socks, okay?
Oh shit.
No, that will be when it's your old man phase.
I'm getting there. I already got the flip-flops. Now I just need to get the right dress socks.
Oh, don't forget to pull up the white tube socks to your knees too.
Look at God no other said slides with socks.
when it's sunny and 80 all the time, like where you're at, I'm gonna cut you a break on that, Carlos.
And give him a pass. Yeah, give him a pass.
Yeah. Profound. Being an MC or being a producer?
I'm MC.
Okay. Jam, rapper, manager, behind the scenes.
Oh man, behind the scenes all day long. It's not even close.
All right. Profound. Big Daddy Kane or Cool G Rap?
Oh, really? That's like asking me to pick one and leave the other out. Like, are you serious?
If they were hanging off a cliff and one hand was getting tired.
Woo!
G-Rap, dog. Wow.
Yeah.
Jam, okay, I got a question for you, Jam. This or that.
Yes, sir.
From the manager standpoint. So you got Def Jam, one of the greatest, not just rap, but one of the greatest music labels in the history of the world. It has a split early on, and they both have massive success. If you're there at the beginning of Def Jam, who do you roll with? Rick Rubin or Mr. Simmons?
You know what? I know this might be an unpopular choice, but I would probably roll with Rick.
Yep.
I mean, I don't. Russell Simmons was pretty crazy back then. He probably would have fired everybody 3 times before he got anywhere.
Yeah, he was heavy on the coke game. So you talking in the beginning? I just think like Rick, because I know that sound and that vision for the creative was coming from Rick.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's what built the foundation more than Russell was to shake your hand, man, make everybody feel happy about Def Jam. But I think he was more replaceable at that time than Rick was, because Rick's production and his creative vision was so stand out. And like, I mean, shit, I know you can still play that shit and it rocks the parties to this day.
Yeah, Rick didn't have a whole lot of flops. The projects Rick didn't do quite as much as Russ did. But all of Rick's projects were pretty on point, whether it was doing a Johnny Cash record or he took Glenn Danzig and Slayer from Def Jam, and a rock route. But then also then he comes back and he works with Jay-Z.
Rick crazy, man.
Oh, and he launched the Ghetto Boys pretty much on a national level. He took them out of Houston.
Come on, man. So yeah,
and Sir Mix-a-Lot out of Seattle.
Jam is like, told you.
Hey, pro, told you.
Was there any more, Ryan? Because I kind of jumped in on that one.
Nope, that's all I got.
Okay. Gentlemen, thank you guys for coming out.
Man, much appreciated, and thank you guys for the love. And Carlos,
sir.
Hey man, if I see some good flip flops around, especially if I'm giving some, you got it, son. It's me and you.
What's gonna happen if Timberland comes out with some mad flip flops?
Their fucking stock sales will plummet. That's what's gonna happen.
But love to send a pair of flip flops to Profound. You can send them right to your ass.
Nah, man, I'm good, dude.
Cool. Well, while we wrap up here, Sean Doe, you want to rattle off here a few of the shows that we got coming up this week and events and other things?
Sure. Give me 1 second. So I know that 606 is tonight. That's at Sub T. Open mic. It's been going on for years. I think it's I don't think it's covered. What else is going on?
There's not, I guess. There's 6. We got Friday. We got Roto Fuji.
No, that was last Friday.
That was last Friday?
Yeah, everything that was
putting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all I know is about this week. Also, I'm Risky's at. Where are you at, Risky?
Friday I'll be at Tree Lounge.
You know he gonna be at the suite.
And I'll be at
North Wells.
I'll be there on Saturday.
Yes, you will.
Hey, can I ask you guys one question though? Did you guys do Nuisance yet?
Absolutely. Oh, for this or for the film?
No, we had a couple of technical difficulties when trying to get the show going. So
we'll reschedule Nuisance, but we will have her on.
Yes.
All right, I'm looking forward to that one. That's why, you know what I mean.
Oh, absolutely.
I like Nuisance would have been the other lady that I would have spoke about. So I need to say that before I see her and she give me one of those looks like, yeah, this is what you want.
Oh, and for the record, I did get Jam on the mic. It was on an album or on a record that I did with Profound last year, but we got Jam in the studio on the mic. He did over.
Yeah, I got a half a line, man, a half a bar. I'm on, son. You put me on. I'm back, baby.
Cool. So I'll just wrap it up real quick by mentioning our sponsors. Genesis Art Supply has always been a big supporter of hip hop in Chicago in general, big supporter of Midway Doc. So thank you to those guys. And Emporium, who's always cool to us. When is the next MTV generation?
November 26th will be the next one. Actually, my birthday.
So come out for Risky's birthday and see some dope videos.
We got to.
Flip-flops for the first 10 people to show up.
I'm coming late, Risk.
Cool. And then I want to end it with saying that next week our guest is going to be Urbanized Music, Amina, the lovely Amina, and Cool Out Chris. Joining us next week, and we'll talk a little bit more in depth about what's going on at Sub-T next Tuesday, which, as we mentioned earlier in the show, is the night of Hip Hop All Stars here in Chicago. So a little benefit for Midway project. So
please come out and support that.
Small plug for something that's coming up that I can't wait for. Dirty MF and Doc Mananoff have a podcast coming soon called Freaky Tales. I cannot wait for that to come out.
That is going to be pure entertainment.
Is Carlos hosting that?
No, Carlos can only host our podcast. Carlos is not allowed.
Carlos' podcast will be Freaky Flops.
Yeah.
You guys think I'm kidding? I'm gonna see if I can pick up a
You should get
flip-flop
some
sponsor.
Cubs. You should get some Cubs flip-flops for Risky for his birthday.
Ooh.
And then he can wear them with his Star Wars socks.
Yes.
I have lots of Star Wars.
I'm gonna pay for Risky to get a tattoo of Darth Vader in flip-flops.
There you go.
And a pink bunny robe.
So as we close out here, Jam, Profound, where can people find you guys who want to find music and they want to find more information on what you guys got going on?
You can check the Profound Music Group page on Facebook, IG as well, Profound Music Group, and the Twitter is the Real Pro.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely. That's where you can find them, and you know, we'll be posting some of the new visuals. You know, we plan on shooting a couple of more of the videos. Definitely employing the talents of the video documentary guru himself, Ryan. And also we've been getting a lot of support from a guy that I definitely have to mention before we get up out of here. Our guy Tab from Hip Hop Nerd. He's definitely been supplying Pro with gear since day one, even before You know what I mean? He really had met him. So we've been partnering up with him, and you guys can look for that upcoming soon as another one of the Profound Music Group ventures.
Dope. Sean Doe, where can people find you at?
DJ Sean Doe at Instagram. DJ Sean Doe at Mixcloud.
All right, Risky.
Hold on one second. DJ Risky Biz 1975 at Instagram and DJ Risky Biz at Twitter, I believe. I think.
Barb, where can people find you?
I'm on Facebook and Twitter. I have the tab76 underscore as my Twitter handle. I'm echoing again. Sorry, guys.
And Mr. Carlos Gomez.
You can find me at your nearest hot flip-flop shop. But if you can't make it there, you can go online and just do a look up for Coconut Justice. I'm out there.
Coconut Justice, baby.
Yes. You can find me on Twitter at 278 Media. The number's 278 Media, and that's the same for Instagram and for Midway. Check out midwaydocumentary.com, and that'll have links to everything else that we got going on. So with that, man, Jam, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you guys for having us, man. Appreciate it.
Thank y'all, man. I get it. I'll see you Friday.
Oh, I like that.
Sweet.
And when you guys are listening to this, go get that album when they finally release it, all the way released. It's hot. They just got it loosened up right now.
Good night, everybody.
All right, good night, y'all. Peace.